Listen, I know we're tired of anti-Batman copies, especially because we've had like 20 of them and none of them have really stuck. But there is one anti-Batman character in DC that no one really talks about. No, it's not Owlman. No, it's not you and your phone muscle leotard. And no, it's not Zack Snyder's Batman. I'm talking about DC's Prometheus. First of all, that name, it's either really cool or it's like a gamer tag that a 12-year-old would use, therefore it is not cool. So let's get into why the name is actually relevant to the character. So Prometheus, if you didn't already know through the hundreds of bad guy monologues and TV shows and movies, is the titan who took fire from the gods and gave it to mankind. So therefore he's basically a champion of mankind's progress and development, etc. Then when Zeus found out, he was like, yeah, bitch? Really? You think you can do that to me? I'm Zeus, motherfucker. Then he had Prometheus tied to a big rock and an eagle would just eat out his liver forever. And I'm pretty sure Hercules saves him later, but that's a bit vague. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure that's the most educational I've ever been on this channel. Let's not do that again. So DC's Prometheus, he's basically the same except that his defying the gods moment is more like killing the Justice League. Now you might be asking, Andy, why'd you call him the anti-Batman? Plenty of people want to kill the Justice League. Just because you want to kill the Justice League doesn't make you an anti-Batman. Okay, well let's be honest, there's no way a supervillain can be a true anti-Batman. The true anti-Batman will be a poor, obese, brain-dead loser who just hangs out on Discord all day. Yes. You are the true anti-Batman. By the way, there was a Prometheus in DC Comics before the Prometheus I'm talking about appeared. I'm not talking about him. He only appeared once or something and no one really cares about him. I'm talking about the guy who, when he was a kid, his parents would gun down in front of him. So when he grew up, he traveled the world, learned how to fight, and became super intelligent. That sounds real original. Whoever wrote this book, Grant Morrison? Yeah, whatever, you loser. You probably haven't written anything good. However, there are a couple differences between my boy B and my boy P. First of all, Prometheus's parents were not some richy riches who decided to take a shortcut through a crime-ridden town in the middle of the night instead of calling an Uber. Prometheus's parents were criminals who got lit the fuck up by the coppers. Apparently this event was so traumatic that it permanently turned his hair white. Can that actually happen to a kid? Maybe ask someone who invited their whole 3rd grade class to their birthday party, but no one showed up. If that happened to you, I'm sorry, okay? Please? Life is worth living. Step off that ledge. Come on. So this guy travels worldwide to learn how to kill in a whole bunch of different ways, and then he gets to Tibet. In Tibet, there's a bunch of monks, and I thought this was so random, but it turns out these monks are a bunch of fucking aliens. So he takes this thing called the Cosmic Key, which lets him bounce to a different dimension, and then he hops out. He comes back to America to blow up the Supreme Court as part of his revenge against all forms of justice, until he realizes, maybe I should just take out the Justice League instead. What the fuck does the Supreme Court even do in a world with aliens and gods and shit, and where the world's ending 24/7? Good choice, Prometheus. So he cooks up a sick-ass costume, kills a motherfucker who won a contest to visit the Justice League in the Watchtower, takes that guy's spot, and boom. Infiltrated. I just want to take a moment to talk about the moment he reveals himself to Steel when he hacks into his armor. You've picked a bad time to join these losers. I've thought this whole thing out. You people are in trouble. Dude, the beating is crazy. He sets Martian Manhunter on fire and takes a few newbies out. Then Batman finds him. So the whole Watchtower is currently fucked, and Green Lantern and Flash are walking around like, dude, where is this guy? And do you know what they find? Batman got his ass handed to him. So what exactly is Prometheus's powers? Well, first of all, his main weapon is a modified baton, which is the biggest fuck you to cops. Second, and this is gonna sound real 90s, but he downloads information into his brain through a little CD he pops into his helmet. That's kinda cute. I think in more recent iterations it's all wireless, so I guess it's keeping up with his MKBHT intake. So this information he's able to download in his head, it could be either schematics or it could be stuff like the skills of a bunch of fighters, which is how he beat Batman. He uses a gas which reduces Green Lantern's willpower to the same level as a crackhead. So then he tells Flash that there are motion detectors everywhere and that if he moves one molecule above super speed, it will set off bombs and just kill everyone. Then he shoots them both. Later, Prometheus finds Superman and he's like, hey, I'll let these reporters and people go alive only if you kill yourself. Oh my god. What a menace. Okay, so this is where the story gets a bit, What? So Catwoman was actually disguised as Cat Grant, who was one of the reporters there, and bitches Prometheus. Flash and Green Lantern return because humbled Batman helps them not die. So the gist is that Prometheus's head was overloaded with data, so he keeps forgetting steps in his plan, and that he doesn't have any information on supervillains, which is why Catwoman was able to bitch him. So using the cosmic key, he escapes. And that's that. So what happened next? Well, he joins Lex Luthor's Injustice gang, sees Batman, he's like, bitch, I'm ready for a rematch. I'm gonna whoop your ass again. He finds his old helmet, puts it on, and you know whose skills and physical capabilities is loaded straight into his nervous system? Turns out that Batman took Prometheus's old helmet that he left behind and reprogrammed it to load the physical skills and coordination of Stephen Hawking. Stephen fucking Hawking. Okay, this kind of writing probably wouldn't fly today because it's ableist or whatever, but that's kind of fucking hilarious. Good job, Batman. Then Batman and Martian Manhunter agree that this dude is way too dangerous to be kept in a normal jail, so they essentially lobotomize him. I feel like that's not very heroic. Like, I get that he could escape from any jail or whatever, but how about we use that kind of power on, I don't know, Joker? This mass serial killer who just keeps escaping again? How about we apply that strategy to someone like him? Does that sound good? Anyway, for a while he's a D-list villain that pops up every now and then. He uses guns now for some reason, so he's basically a bit of a joke. Or is he? It turns out for all these years, it was actually Prometheus's failed sidekick who stole Prometheus's costume and paraded around as Prometheus. Yep, the writers definitely planned this years in advance, yep. Yeah. So after Martian Manhunter dies in whatever crisis event, Prometheus, the original one, he's back, no longer lobotomized. He finds fake Prometheus, kills him, but he's low-key happy that everyone will underestimate him now. Then shit hits the fan. Warning, this story was not received well by a lot of people. This is Justice League Cry for Justice. This takes place after Final Crisis when everyone thought Batman was dead and doesn't really have heavy hitters like Superman, Wonder Woman, and Flash. It has Green Arrow though, but I bet he fucking regrets being in this Justice League lineup after this story. So OG Prometheus is back and boy does he have a plan. I haven't read this comic since I was a kid and I probably won't reread it because apparently it just doesn't make sense and is a bit shit. So I'm gonna skip ahead a bit. So the Justice League catches Prometheus and all is good. Not because Roy Harper runs out into the Watchtower hallway with his fucking arm cut off. Yep, so apparently Prometheus was in disguise as Freddie Freeman Shazam. So no, Roy Harper does not lose his arm for cloning purposes like he does in Young Justice. In the comics, Prometheus cuts his fucking arm off. How horrifying is this page? Jesus Christ. After he's caught and beaten the shit out of, he basically reveals that it's all about getting revenge on the heroes after he spent years basically lobotomized. What's his plan? Teleport every major city to a random space and time so they can never be found again. That is fucking terrifying. Imagine someone being like to you, I'm not gonna kill you, you just be teleported to a random point in time where you'll probably be alone forever. Or even worse, imagine you get teleported to the times when skinny jeans were in fashion. So Prometheus, all captured, is like, bro, let me go or else this shit will actually happen. Then Star City's device starts malfunctioning and causes an earthquake. And you know who dies? Roy Harper's daughter, Leanne. Wow, this is not a good day to be Roy Harper, is it? So after that, Green Arrow's like, hey, let's just let him go. This is clearly not worth it anymore. So Prometheus tells them how to deactivate the bombs and boops away. Oh, so Prometheus won? Well, yeah, Prometheus is celebrating with a glass of wine or whatever, probably busted a few nuts in celebration, but he's not alone. Who does he see walk in? Green Arrow, who pops an arrow right between his eyes. So that's the death of Prometheus. Since the New 52, he has popped up every now and again. I know that he did pretend to be in love with Midnighter. I don't know if Prometheus is actually gay, but if he wasn't, not cool, dude. That's queer baiting, okay? And just because Brad Summer's over doesn't mean you can try pull some shit like that. They also kind of recreated that first Justice League story I was talking about with the new Justice League of America lineup, and it was kind of So has Prometheus appeared anywhere outside of comics? Well, actually, yeah. He's actually the main villain of Arrow Season 5, aka the season that was really fucking good and got people to move Deathstroke down to second place of Arrow villains. But was it actually Prometheus though? Not really. The only link that's kind of there is that Green Arrow killed Prometheus' criminal father, so Prometheus sets out to prove that Green Arrow isn't really a pure form of justice. Kind of similar, but I'll take it considering how that season single-handedly saved the show so it could coast the rest of the series without dipping too badly, unlike some other shows. He's also teased in the Arkham games. I'm pretty sure he was meant to appear in Arkham Knight. There's news articles on the wall about a dead criminal couple who leave a child behind. Honestly, it's kind of eerie that he's just lurking out there in the Arkham world. So why did I make this video? To be honest, I don't know. I just thought he was a really cool character as a kid and just wanted to spread the word. And listen, if you write down his losses and read it out on surface level, this is how it reads. Got beaten by Catwoman, became disabled like Stephen Hawking, got lobotomized, and couldn't dodge an arrow. Not a great list of feats, but hey, he's a bad guy, okay? You're born to lose. I would love to see a true representation of him in live action or in animated form one day. Who would I cast for Prometheus in live action? Well, the answer's pretty obvious to me, and there's only one correct answer. It's Tom Holland. Kidding, obviously. But anyone who can play sadistic and charming and isn't fat can probably play him. No, I don't think race matters. The general public doesn't even know who he is. Race has nothing to do with his backstory, and yeah, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. I would make sure to consider that his costume colors mix well with whatever skin color he has. Is this becoming racist? I don't know. But let's be honest, DC has a lot of shit to fix right now, so let's just wait and see before we introduce Mr. Queerbait over here. That's all I have for this week. Follow me on Instagram, check out my second channel for random vlogs, check out my letterbox, and I'll see you next week. See ya!
10-1-5 in the open night, I can't help it.